Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Cabinet Office. Minister Keynes, Mr. Ronnie Vieira, and members of the Cybersecurity Governance Board, and Dr. Stones. Today, on the last day of September, we are here to announce that October is National Cybersecurity Month, and Bermuda is celebrating this month with many activities designed to educate the public and raise awareness of cybersecurity and what Bermuda is doing in this area. Minister Keynes, following me, will give an overview of the new cybersecurity strategy of which we are launching today, and Dr. Marissa Stones, Director of the Department of ICT Policy and Innovation, will talk about the events planned for National Cybersecurity Month. Events that we hope that the public will attend to learn more about this topic and to join the conversation. The internet is an integral part of our daily lives, and there are few activities that do not involve accessing information, goods, or services online. As a country, despite our size, we are a significant part of the global economy, and the internet has become an increasingly important tool for how we seamlessly, without conscious thought, conduct business, forge personal and professional relationships, participate in social activism, and learn about and develop unique interests. As we look at how business is conducted, when compared with 10 or even 5 years ago, we recognize that there are many benefits with instant access to people, businesses, and information. However, we must also be aware of the risks that are associated with the internet, and there are many. We hear daily of global companies and organizations, together with well-known personalities, whose information is compromised and threatened to be exposed. I believe there are 100 times more businesses and individuals whose data breaches never make the headlines. They are quietly resolved or are not deemed sensational enough to report in the media. Locally, we're also challenged with data breaches, and some of them have made international headlines. And in addition to that, there are persons who will go online and imitate the personalities of politicians such as myself. And I've had people who've been online asking persons for money, and unfortunately there have been some Bermudians who have fallen victim to these crimes and have gone ahead to send money to someone who was pretending to be myself, but in fact was someone overseas. Therefore, in celebration of Cybersecurity Month, I'm here today to announce the launch of Bermuda's first cybersecurity strategy. As I mentioned, Minister Keynes will be speaking about this in detail, but what I want to say is that our vision for cybersecurity in Bermuda is a secure, resilient, and trustworthy internet which fosters an informed and inclusive society in Bermuda. I will now turn the podium over to Minister Keynes, the minister responsible for cybersecurity, who will give an overview of the cybersecurity strategy. Minister?
Good morning to the press corps. Information is critical to our prosperity and to our well-being. We are highly dependent on technology that we use to store, process, and analyze information. Information and technology helps us to communicate with our families, our friends, and indeed the world. It expands our capabilities and provides us new opportunities for education, economic prosperity, and an improved quality of life. As information technology continues to expand our horizons, it opens up new opportunities. It also brings new risks. Cybercriminals seek to use our information and our systems against us for their own economic gain. They trade in stolen personal information, and they deploy ransomware in attempts to extort money from individuals and businesses. Nation-states engage in cyber espionage for political and economic gain. Hacktivists deface websites, disrupt operations, and expose sensitive, confidential information to the world. For Bermuda to thrive socially and economically, we must ensure that we are adequately protected from cyber threats. Our national critical infrastructure, our vital services, and sensitive information must be defended against those who look to profit at our expense. In the 2018 throne speech, we pledged a strategy that will be created and implemented. We pledged to support, and we also made provisions in the 2018-2019 budget. Let me provide a little background on how we got to where we are today. In 2016, the Cybersecurity Working Group was spun off from the E-Commerce Advisory Board. The CWG, a volunteer body of local leaders in the information and communications technology field, were tasked with developing Bermuda's first national cybersecurity strategy. In 2017, the Bermuda government commissioned the Commonwealth Telecommunications Organizations, or the CTO, to assist with building the strategy. Members of the CTO visited Bermuda in March 2018 and again in June of that year, and dedicated their time on the island to leading workshops with key stakeholders to devise with the CWG a custom-built strategy for strengthening the island's cybersecurity posture. After island-wide public consultation in 2018, a draft strategy was made available on www.gov.bm, accompanied by a survey response, and they were compiled, and thus we have the Bermuda Cybersecurity Strategy Consultative Response document. The National Cybersecurity Strategy was then finalized. It provided a framework for the government to effectively ensure that the ICT that was integrated across all segments of our society, and that the economy was safe and secure. This, in turn, will enable economic diversification of Bermuda's economy and enhance the island's prosperity and safety. The Bermuda Economic Cybersecurity Strategy 2018 to 2022 takes a proactive approach, and it is focused on maintaining a safe cyberspace for anyone in Bermuda who has an online presence. It is driven by the Cybersecurity Governance Board, which comprises of a volunteer body of local ICT leaders who are all present with us here today. The government recognizes that we must set the example for our jurisdiction by ensuring that we follow industry standards and generally accepted good practices for cybersecurity. We must ensure that critical information infrastructures within the government are adequately protected. Please be advised that Cabinet approved the Information Systems Risk Management Program policy in October 2017. This policy requires the government to implement and maintain a holistic, risk-based cybersecurity program that protects the organization from end to end. This includes establishing policies, standards, and procedures aligned with internationally recognized standards to secure the government's information systems and to protect individuals, the government's and Bermuda's reputation against cybersecurity threats. We believe that cybersecurity forms the basis and one of the bulwarks of our government and our infrastructure. Behind me stands the men and the lady that will help us to implement the strategy. We're indebted with them, and we are anxious and excited about developing and continuing to go forward with the Bermuda government's cybersecurity threat strategy.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
We are very excited about celebrating National Cybersecurity Month, and there will be a number of lunch and learns held during the month of October. Light refreshments will be served, and they will take place from 12:30 to 1:30 on the respective days within the Public Works Training Room, which is located on the 3rd floor of the General Post Office. I will go over the various sessions, and to participate, it will require RSVP via email to ictpolicy@gov.bm. So on October 3rd, we will have the topic Cybersecurity, where is Bermuda in all of this? On October 4th shall be Cybersecurity Incident Response Teams, Threat Management, and the indispensable role that they play. On October 7th, we will have Awareness and Education, how to harness their power to enhance the island's cybersecurity preparedness. On October 11th, the topic shall be Malware, a session for members of the public service. On October 20th, there will be training a cybersecurity aware staff. And on the 28th of October, what does the legislation say? And the last lunch and learn session for the month will take place on October 31st, Cybercrime, What Is It? There will also be a special session for our seniors on October 18th, and this will take place from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the St. Paul's AME Centennial Hall, and this will be a session for Bermuda's security-savvy seniors. And again, lunch will be served at all of these sessions. This information will be available on gov.bm and also on the cybertips.bm website. And we encourage everyone to sign up because this is indeed very important to our jurisdictions, to our companies, and indeed to us individually. Thank you.
Any questions? Yes. Obviously, the internet is not localized to Bermuda, it's around the world. Can you tell us what the conversation and dialogue there has been with other nations about sort of tackling this issue of cybersecurity?
We have constantly been working with the CTO. We have been to conferences around the world. As you know, we are constantly working with best practices, global best practices, to understand what the rest of the world are doing. We have the opportunity to talk with, I have the opportunity to talk with my opposite numbers in other countries and find out what strategies that they're doing. A year and a half ago, they had a cybersecurity conference for CARICOM. I, along with the Deputy Commissioner, we went and represented Bermuda, and we were able to see what the rest of the Caribbean were doing, what the best practices were, what were some of the challenges that we were having. We shared with them what we were doing in Bermuda. The conference was held again this year, and we shared the strategy with the regions, what were some of the issues that we're having. And so this is a work in progress. We understand that cybersecurity, that we need best practices in this country, that we need to understand our critical infrastructure in Bermuda. Our cybersecurity strategy focuses on best practices for Bermuda, looking at what we need to do to protect the critical infrastructure in Bermuda. And that is something that we're looking at, putting best practices in place, understanding our critical infrastructure in Bermuda, and going forward to make sure that we have a system that is best for Bermuda, making sure that our critical infrastructure is covered, and then moving forward.
Are there any agreements as far as information sharing, so that if someone hacks into your account and they happen to be based in the UK, would be easy, but if they are based in Nigeria or China or Australia?
There are a number of global conventions. We were talking about some conventions that we are looking to become a part of. There are works in progress. There are a number of countries that have laws that center around crime and a number of global bodies that we are, by convention, a party to. We are looking to upgrade our legislation as it centers around the Computer Act and fraud centered around computers. And so we will be able to update the public in the not too distant future. We believe that updating the legislation is a key component, and that is something that we're looking to do in this parliamentary session.
Good morning, Minister. How would you rate Bermuda's cybersecurity performance currently?
It's not a matter of rating it. We realize that this is something that is critical, and that's why you see a bipartisan, that's why you see private enterprise with us. This is something that the country has taken seriously. That is why we've been working for the not too distant past, putting together a plan for the betterment of this country.
And what are our shortfalls currently?
Obviously, that we believe that would definitely not be in the best interest of our country to highlight our shortfalls.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Sir,